Lewis Hamilton has just made a statement so unexpected, so brutally honest, that it may have completely flipped the script on Ferrari's current crisis. While the paddock hums with gossip of Fred Vasseur's possible departure, and headlines yell about likely replacements such as Christian Horner and Angelo Cletta, Hamilton walked into the limelight neither with vague endorsement nor corporate tact, but with words that cut to the quick of the turmoil within Maranello. That is what makes the timing so detonative. Because whereas the media buzzes like vultures and pressure builds with each subpar performance, Hamilton has refused to remain quiet. He's stood up. And what he's now made public may not only alter the direction of Fred Vasseur's career, it could revolutionize the whole direction of Ferrari's season. So why now? What is it that Hamilton knows and we do not? And what does it imply for the infighting within the greatest team in motorsport? Stay right where you are, because what you're going to hear is not just another general soundbite or PR spin, it's an insight into the actual drama going on behind the closed doors at Ferrari. So hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and see this through to the end, because Hamilton's revelation of the truth could be the most significant you hear all season. Lewis Hamilton is not one man who will avoid pressure. He's battled through adversity, driven through controversy, and shouldered the burden of empires with a poise that's as uncommon as it is awe-inspiring. But what he just shared about Fred Vasseur, the individual now battling to retain his seat at Ferrari, could be one of his most daring public statements to date. Because at a moment when the Scuderia is being ripped apart by internal doubt, boardroom politics, and media maelstrom, Hamilton has emerged not merely with backing, but with an ultimatum masquerading as devotion. The whispering started discreetly, then quickly escalated. Ferrari was on the verge of firing Vasseur after a disastrous first 10 races in the 2025 season. The board allegedly was losing confidence. The team did not win a single Grand Prix. Leclerc and Hamilton were visibly seething. Calls on strategy were inconsistent. Technical upgrades did not deliver. All while McLaren stormed ahead and Red Bull fought just enough to give Ferrari the illusion of second place. But behind the mask there was turmoil brewing. And that's when news came. Ferrari had contacted Christian Horner. They were rejected, so they went to Angelo Cletta, solid internal choice from the endurance racing department. But then, in the midst of this storm, Lewis Hamilton spoke up and halted everything in its tracks. Asked about the rumors of Vasseur, he didn't dodge. He didn't generalize. He didn't fall back on PR-sanctioned phrases. He made a comment that astonished even old paddock hands. "Fred's the key reason why I'm in this team," Hamilton stated. "I enjoy working with him. I want Fred here. I think he's the man to take us to the top." Let's be explicit here, this is not merely a compliment, it's a statement of symbiosis. A forceful message to the Ferrari boardroom and an implicit warning to anyone considering redefining the team's hierarchy. Hamilton has bet everything on one man, and that person is Fred Vasseur. The stakes are enormous. Hamilton has signaled that his transfer to Ferrari was not merely a change of environment, it was a long-term endeavor built on trust and vision. If that foundation starts to crumble, everything constructed upon it is at risk of collapse. Ferrari might be pursuing leadership transition, but Hamilton is now making it very apparent that he isn't amongst those pursuing it. He doesn't want a reset, he wants continuity, he wants stability, and he wants Vasseur to stay on as the architect. And yet the context could not be more complicated. Ferrari is in a weakened state, no podium for Hamilton yet. The SF25 has glimpsed its potential through fleeting moments of speed, but more times than not, it's laid bare its vulnerabilities: floor damage in Canada, setup inconsistencies, tire degradation, poor qualifying performances. All this with two of the best drivers on the grid. The frustration isn't just apparent, it's transmitted over team radios, body language, and headlines. So, when Hamilton says, "It looks a lot worse outside than it probably is on the inside," he's not just doing damage control, he's attempting to keep things centered when all around him they're breaking apart. It's a kind of leadership that few drivers assume, least of all in public. He's not only defending Vasseur, he's defending the whole team against itself. Against doubt, against haste, against the urge to begin anew. Because let's face it, Ferrari's pattern is well known: impatience, resets, revolving doors in management. It's a cycle that's defined the post-Schumacher era. And every time a project is scrapped early, it delays the rebuild even more. Hamilton knows that. Vasseur knows that. Does Ferrari's upper management? The timing of Hamilton's words is not coincidental. With rumors swirling and the media turning up the pressure, his voice carries weight. He's making a statement to the world and, more importantly, to the men in suits behind the scenes that this time, Ferrari needs to defy its old ways. That Vasseur is entitled to the time to complete what he was doing. And if they don't heed it, the results could be seismic. Because although Hamilton's statement was measured, its threat was cutthroat. If Fred leaves, Lewis may well go too, not straight away, but in spirit. The unity, the faith, the confidence, that's all gone. And for a team already on a tightrope, that sort of breakdown would be lethal. So yes, what Hamilton just told us about Fred Vasseur is absolutely mad, not because it was dramatic sounding, but because what it signifies. It's a driver going all out. It's a message that reads, stability above chaos, loyalty above politics, trust above pressure. In an F1 age where drivers are more diplomat than ever before, Hamilton just acted kingmaker. And whether Ferrari listen or not could decide not only Fred Vasseur's future but their own, so don't move from your seat. Because what's happening now is more than a turning point for Fred Vasseur, it's something much, much deeper. The political landscape beneath Maranello is changing, and for once it's not taking place behind the scenes. It's occurring live, out in the open, in front of fans, media, opposition teams, and most importantly, two of the sport's most high-profile drivers. Lewis Hamilton's announcement wasn't simply one of support, it was tactical. When a seven-time world champion leaps to the defense of a team principal in trouble, he's not merely being loyal, he's making a statement, he's sending a warning. Hamilton isn't just another driver passing through Ferrari. He's the face of their future. And now he's effectively said, if Fred goes, everything changes. And that raises terrifying questions for Ferrari's top brass. Because if they're seriously considering removing Vasseur, they're not just removing a team boss. They're detonating the foundation of the project they used to attract Hamilton in the first place. They're risking the confidence of a driver who came not just for podiums but for a legacy-defining chapter. And in doing so, they may trigger a level of instability that no mid-season replacement, be it Cleta or anyone else, can possibly contain. Think about the timing. We're approaching a pivotal point in the season. 2026 is looming with massive regulation changes and a chance to reset the pecking order. Ferrari cannot afford to come into that period in disarray. They cannot afford to lose Hamilton's confidence, nor Leclerc's forbearance. Because if either of those two cornerstones begins to falter, the repercussions won't be limited to this year, they'll resonate for years. Cleta can bring order, he can bring results from endurance racing, but he does not bring the rapport Hamilton already enjoys with Vasseur. He does not provide the continuity this team so badly needs to pull itself out of its downturn, and continuity is what it needs right now. Ferrari have attempted reshuffles in the past, resets, new technical directors, new team principals, new philosophies, but what they have never had in this period is time. Time actually to allow something to evolve. And maybe that's what Hamilton is trying to buy Thiem a moment to breathe, to stabilize, to believe in a vision that doesn't involve panicking after every failed weekend. He knows the car isn't where it needs to be. He knows the strategy calls have been poor. But more importantly, he knows how quickly the cracks in Ferrari's foundation can spread if pressure is applied from the top down. This tale, therefore, is now not so much about whether or not Fred Vasseur remains in his job. It's about whether Ferrari can learn from history or whether they're stuck to do it again. And it's about whether Hamilton, who has supported Vasseur publicly and vociferously, actually being listened to inside the walls of Maranello, or whether his loyalty, like so many at Ferrari promises, will remain unrequited. So stick with us. Because this isn't merely an in-house drama, it's a reckoning, a crossroads for the sport's most iconic team. And the choices that are made in the coming weeks might decide not just the closing races of 2025, but the very identity of Ferrari as we enter into the next generation of Formula One. Click that like button if you're as engaged in this drama as I am. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss one single twist and turn on notifications, because what's coming next could determine everything.